Hey, my name's J.R. Feland. Welcome today. Today we're going to be talking about my horse won't slow down or my horse won't stop. Today we're working with Laredo. Laredo is a half thoroughbred, half Morgan. So he's got plenty of speed and plenty of all day long go endurance all day long. Today what we've done is literally I've just thrown the saddle on this horse, brushed him down, threw some, sprayed him with some fly spray, and we're going to shoot the video. So this horse is fresh, and we're going to walk you through the steps of what I do to work on a horse that needs to get a slow down. It's a mindset, right? We're trying to get the horse all right and not as anxious, right? Anxiety is when you have kind of a fear of what the future is. And that's what we're working on with this horse, is getting him to be okay with going fast and then slowing down and doing that. So the first exercise I like to do is a little bit of lunging. And what I want to do is before you ever step up on a horse that's going to be too fast or that's not going to stop, is might as well ride him from the ground, right? Like, why commit yourself to the back of the saddle of that horse before you hop up in? So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I can get control of his loping, trotting, and walking up through the transitions and down through the transitions. So I'm going to ask for a lope. You can tell we've been working on this. This isn't, something that we barely started working on with this horse. I want to give a clear cue of what my cue is for the trot. Easy, and transition to that trot. That's my easy. My transition is that easy transition, and then I'm going to say walk. I want it to be that light. So before you hop up on a horse that's going to be too much of a go, hasn't worked it through his mind anxiety wise, you want just to the trot, please. My cluck is my cue for a trot, and the kiss is for the lope. If I need to, I'll raise that hand. I say that and then I cluck, right? Now the down transitions, easy. But in a horse's mind, it's all control of his feet. So you need to control the up ticks and the down ticks. And walk. Walk. Nope, he's there making an error here. That's okay. Maybe it was mine. I kind of pulled back on that rein too much. Walk. Got a little goosey there over something, right? First part of the day, totally fresh. And now here's the next piece of this. We really want to make sure that we get a real clear communication of a stop. So mine is going to be ho. So notice I really made that a clear definition. I made an imaginary wall here with my other hand. I stepped in front of the drive line and did a whoa. So lunging. That's going to be the first thing I do before I hop up in the saddle. Okay, now when I'm working with a horse that's going too fast or won't slow down or won't stop, the first thing that I do is I'm going to do some yielding of the hindquarters. What this is like an emergency stop, right? So we need to make sure that we can get these hind end disengaged back here. So what we're going to do on this is, let me kind of get to a better view so you can kind of see it. I'm going to slide my foot position back to position 3. I'm going to pick up that inside rein. It's going to be kind of a touch release with the foot, touch release with the foot, and get that hind quarter crossing. Okay, so if you have a horse that's going too fast, what you're going to do is you're going to bring them into a circle, and then you're going to pick up and get that hind end going. Now, one of the things of what I do on that is I yield the hinds until his feet, and he wants to stop. And that would kind of give you your point of time that that you can release is when he can release on that. So that'd be the first thing that I would do. Now, for more in-depth details about yielding the hindquarters, come visit southjordanhorselessons.com and we'll give you all the details on that. Okay, now the next thing that I do is when preparing for slowing down or for stopping is we need to get a couple of things really in sync here. We need to make sure that we have a lot of sunshine between our legs and our horse, right? We need to know that leg cue is going to be, you know, like caffeine on, you know, a big old cup of coffee for a horse. And that's going to get a horse really excited if you're just constantly squeezing. We need to have a lot of sunshine there so that those leg cues really mean something. Later on, when the horse is really good at slowing down and stopping, we can make more errors with our feet if we must, right? Not that we want to make errors, but so legs. The next thing is seat position. We need to, with slowing down a horse and stopping a horse, one of the big pieces of it is reins need to not be the stop cue for a horse. And so it needs to be our seat position, okay? So I say that there's 3 seat positions, and you know, kind of the common consensus is that there's 3 seat positions. This seat position that I'm in right now is the seat position 1, where I'm just sitting on my pockets. I don't want to go anywhere. Seat position 2 is where I sit up, I float, and that means I'd like to go somewhere. Okay, so for the horse, that we would like to stop like this and sit back on our pockets, okay? Now with the reins, what you do is instead of pull, right? What that does is that makes it so that it's really easy to lean on for the horse. And when you create that much tension, the horse just can't but help to, you know, reciprocate that tension and hold on it and brace against it and push all their neck muscles into it, okay? So what you do instead of with your reins is you make an imaginary wall that if they run into the wall, then they run into the pressure, okay? But then they get away from the pressure if they slow down, okay? But it's mostly with the seat. Okay, so now another thing with horses when we're working on slowing down and stopping is you got to do lots of transitions. And just like with the lunging, where we need to go from walk to trot to canter and then down to trot to walk to stop, we need to do lots of these. Okay, so I'm gonna start moving through these, and what I want you to notice here is really watch my seat bone, okay? Because you're gonna see me helping the horse rate his speed by my seat bone instead of my hands. So if he's going too fast, I'm gonna sit back, get a little heavier in my seat. I'm also gonna create the dance with the horse, right? Create what the rhythm is with my posting. I like to post a lot on these horses that are going too fast like this, because the post is a clear way to define what the trot is, where it's that 1-2 motion up and down, versus the canter is that circular motion where your hips, and you're not posting, you're not going up and down. So it's clear, 2 very clear different ways of moving your body between the 2 gaits. All right, let's move out. So we're gonna walk. My seat position comes up. I'm going to get my reins in a little bit better of a position. Squeeze lightly, did my posting. He kind of thought it was a lope, so I kind of held the wall with the reins until him and I got on pace of this trot. Now if he were to go too fast, put, you know, 5 pounds of pressure on my pockets saying, hey, slow down. Help him rate the speed by what your seat is doing. Okay, now we'll ask for this lope. We'll start to rotate those hips. The up transitions are just as important, like I said in lunging. The up transitions are just as important as the down transitions, because in a horse's mind, all it is control of the feet. Now we're going to go for the down transition. Easy. I'm sitting back, stay back. He still thinks it's a lope. You can see this lope to trot transition is not synced up yet, right? because I gathered up the wall, but there's no tension on the reins right now. We want to be loose here and just go with the dance. He thought it was a lope. I'm sitting back saying, nope, it's not a lope. And now down to a walk. Okay. We want to make our signals really consistent and clear. I'm doing a lot of verbal cues, so you might think, oh man, this guy does a lot of verbal cues. He gets his horse really responding to the verbal cues. It's not so much that. Really what it is with the verbal cues is it's you. What I'm doing is I'm training you to tell your mind what to do with your body, right? Now later on, for all my students that are competing and going off and doing all sorts of things, we're not screaming out verbal cues. What you do is you scream it in your mind is what you do, so that you tell your body what to do. Okay, now we're going to talk about some stops. Okay, so now when I do a stop, what I like to do is we're training a horse that's got issues with stopping. His first thing is a good backup equals a good stop. Okay, so I'm going to give you the basics of backing up, but if you want more details on backing up, come visit our website. We've got all in-depth videos and troubleshooting on backups. But a good backup is, seat position 1 is where you're on your pockets. We ain't going nowhere. For a backup, you're going to go to seat position 2. You're going to create that wall with your reins. Your shoulders come back and squeeze your legs if you need to get this backup. Okay, now for good stops, what we want to do is if the horse goes a little bit past where we wanted to stop, we're going to back them up to get them back to it. And what that also does is that gets a good hind end engagement. The other thing is we're going to start to create some imaginary points where we do want to stop. So let's do this. Let's create a little imaginary spot here. So you see where that big tall tree is just on the other side of that fence there? I'm going to lope out and stop right before that imaginary tree is there. But before I do it, I'm going to try to stride count a little bit before, and I'm going to say in my mind, we're about to stop. And the reason why that is instead of just go, and then slam on the brakes and wreck your transmission on your car, right, is it helps you and the horse prepare for the stop. So it helps you gather together, collect, center, balance, and then stop together and really drop that hind end down to that seat position 1. Okay, let's do it. Okay, we're about to stop. And we'll back up just a little bit. All right. Okay, let's do it one more time just for effect. We'll lope all the way around. We're about to stop. Now, what I loved about that is, I hope the camera caught that, is he actually started to slow down before the stop. Did you notice that? I think it was on the about when I said we're about, which, amen, right? That's what the video is about, is getting your horse to slow down and getting him to stop, right? Sit on my seat. He walked past the stop a little bit, so I'm going to back him up to the stop. This is where I wanted to stop. This was the imaginary spot, okay? So you can see what this does is it starts to help prepare a horse. Horses are really smart. They're really intelligent. They understand what the steps are before something happens, and they start to prepare for it. So you can see that when I said about, that's when he started to stop. Now, here's the deal. It ain't so important about what the words I said is he kind of thought that was a go cue, so I'm going to back him up again. It's not so much about the words we're about to stop. You could say, I love macaroni and cheese. And if you said it a million times over and over again, the horse will start to prepare that that's what the stop is, right? It's not about the words. I like the words we're about to stop because I know what those mean. So my body balances up, collects up, and gets ready for that stop. So yet again, later on, we don't say those words. Those words are just going to be in our mind. We're going to say, we're about to stop. Boom, like this. Okay, now the next piece that I like to do with this, and maybe I'll come a little bit closer, but Next piece I like to talk about this is set yourself up for success, right? So if you got a horse that you know has got a hard stop and a big goer, start in a smaller arena, right? Like this arena here is 100 by 100, and even if you need to make it smaller than that, get yourself in a round pin or whatever, or a square pin, and make it smaller. Set yourself up for success. You don't want to just go out on some open trail and say, yeehaw, let's go work on stops, right? Now you can. That's another method. If you got a horse that's really a goer, I've done that several times with horses where I've just found a nice lonely desert road, and guess what? Every horse will find a stop if you just lope them out on a nice big old desert road like that. So that's another thing. But you got to make sure that yield the hind and that stop is there. But so now the other thing is we say set ourselves up for success. Even if this arena is too big for you and your horse, make it smaller, right? Make an imaginary wall, quarter it up, right? Where you just do circles and just a smaller deal, and really set yourself up for success. Hey, if this video has been of help to you today, please like and subscribe. Thanks for supporting us here on this channel. If you'd like to support us more, come visit southjordanhorselessons.com. We've got a bunch of in-depth videos on all of these things that we'll go over troubleshooting exercises, working with hotter horses, colder horses, all these different things, and we can help you with that. We'd love you to make a comment too. If you've got some different ideas of slowing down a horse or working on stops, we'd love you to leave your comments and share those with us. And thanks for letting me live my dream. I get to teach and ride horses for a living, and I appreciate it a ton. So thanks for supporting us. Okay, now if you're having any issues with this stuff that we've been going over today, remember back to the old mantra, right? Remember, beginner riders always want to focus on intermediate tasks. Intermediate riders always want to focus on advanced tasks, and advanced riders always want to focus on the basics. So if you're having issues, gosh, come visit us at southjordanhorselessons.com. We'll go over all these details of the yield, the hinds, the backup, and go right back to square one and get those really, really good. And that's as I've been helping people with horses, as I've trained a lot of people, a lot of horses over the years. That's where people, if they don't have their fundamentals really down sound, then all this stuff later on starts to get really difficult.